Adeze, stop talking like a foolish child. Running to where? To that poor boy? To a future with hunger? Look at these gifts in our compound. Look at our life changing before your own eyes. Look at what the gods have done. Adeze whispered, Mama, the gods did not do this, oh. Poverty did this one. Nwanyocha stood still for a moment. Her face hardened. The sun was just waking up over the village of Omuago. The sky was soft and pale, and a little cold breeze moved across the land. The birds were singing in the trees. The air smelled fresh, like new morning after a long night. Inside a small hut with a brown thatched roof, a young girl named Adeze opened her eyes. She lay on a thin mat on the floor. There was no bed in the hut, only two mats, one for her and one for her mother. Smoke from the cooking place outside had left dark marks on the low ceiling. The hut was poor, but it was clean. This was home. Adeze stretched her hands above her head and yawned. She was 17 years old. Her skin was smooth and brown like ripe palm fruit. Her eyes were big and bright. Her hair was neatly plaited in small lines, held together with simple black thread. She was not wearing any gold or fancy clothes. She had only one old wrapper at that moment, tied across her chest. But even in that simple cloth, she looked beautiful. Her beauty was not only in her face. It was the way she walked, the way she smiled, the way she greeted people with respect. On the other side of the hut, her mother, Nwanyocha, was already awake. Nwanyocha was a widow. Her husband had died years ago when Adeze was still a small girl. Since then, she had been both mother and father to her only child, Adeze. Life had not been kind to her. Her hands were rough from farm work. Her back often pained her, but she loved her daughter more than anything in the world. Adeze, my daughter, good morning, Nwanyocha said in a soft voice. Good morning, Mama, Adeze replied, sitting up on her mat. They both smiled at each other for a moment. That smile carried love and also small worry that they did not speak about. Adeze stood up and folded her mat. She walked outside into the fresh morning air. The compound was small. There were a few banana trees at one corner. On the ground lay some dry firewood. A chicken scratched in the red sand, looking for food. The world was quiet. Only the sound of birds, distant cock crows, and a woman somewhere pounding yam. Adeze went to the back of the hut to wash her face. She used water from a clay pot that stood beside a simple wooden stand. The water was cool on her skin. She shivered a little, then smiled. She liked morning. Morning always brought hope. Morning made her feel like maybe today could be better than yesterday. After washing, she came back inside. Her mother was tying her wrapper and getting ready to start the day. Are you going to the stream now? Nwanyocha asked. Yes, Mama, Adeze said. We do not have much water left. I will go and come back before the sun is hot. Nwanyocha nodded. All right, my child. Be careful on the way. Greet everyone you see. Do not play too long by the stream. We have much to do today. Yes, Mama, Adeze answered, smiling. She took a big clay pot from the corner of the hut. The pot was round and heavy, but Adeze was used to carrying it. She balanced it on her hip and stepped outside again. The path to the stream was not far, but it was not very near. She walked along a red earth road, her bare feet light and sure. As she walked, she greeted people. In the village of Umuago, greetings were important. They showed respect and love. Good morning, Mama Udo. Adeze called when she saw an old woman carrying firewood on her head. Good morning, my daughter, Adeze. Mama Udo replied with a smile. You're going to the stream? Yes, Mama. Walk well, my child, and tell the stream not to swallow you. The old woman joked. Adeze laughed. I will, Mama. As she went on, she saw some small children playing with stones by the roadside. They waved at her. Adeze, Adeze, they shouted happily. My little friends, good morning, she called back. She winked at them and they giggled. Adeze was loved by many people in Umago, not because she was the most beautiful girl, but because she was gentle. She did not talk badly about others. She respected elders. She helped when people needed help. When someone called her name, she always answered with kindness. Soon, she reached the path that led into the bush. Tall trees stood on both sides. Sunlight filtered through the leaves and made patterns on the ground. Birds flew from branch to branch. The sound of water reached her ears like quiet singing. That was the stream. Down by the stream, other girls were already there. Some were washing clothes. Some were filling their pots. The water from the stream was clear. Smooth stones lay under the surface, and small fish rushed away. Then people stepped in. Among the trees, on a small hill near the stream, stood a young man. He had strong shoulders and a lean body. His name was Obiora. Obiora was 18 years old. He lived with his parents in a small hut, not far from Adeze's home. His father was a farmer. Obiora helped him on the farm and also tapped palm wine. He was not rich. He did not own many clothes or shoes, but he had a good heart and a ready smile. Most of all, he had a deep, quiet love for Adeze. He watched her as she walked towards the water, the clay pot on her head. She moved with grace. Her steps were light, her back straight. Her wrapper swayed as she stepped on the smooth stones. She bent down and placed the pot at the edge of the stream. Obiora felt his heart warm up when he saw her. Every morning, he tried to reach the stream around the time she came. Sometimes, he pretended he was just passing by, but truly, he came to see her. Her presence brightened his day. He called out with a smile, Adeze. Adeze turned at the sound of his voice. Her face lit up. Obiora, good morning. Good morning, beautiful maiden of Umuago, he said jokingly, bowing a little. Adeze laughed and shook her head. You like to play too much. Who told you I am the maiden of Umuago? Everybody knows, Obiora replied. Ask the bed. Ask the trees. Even the water knows. When you come, it flows more gently. Adeze smiled and shook her head again, pretending to be annoyed. But inside, her heart danced. She liked Obiora very much. He always made her feel special. Not because of big gifts. He had no money for that. But because of his words, his actions, his honest eyes. Obiora came down from the small hill and walked to the water's edge. He rolled up his shorts and stepped into the cool water with a little shiver. He went to stand beside Adeze and her pot. Let me help you, he said. You always help me, Adeze replied softly. As they filled the pot together, the cold water washed over their feet. Adeze scooped water with a calabash and poured it into the pot. Obiora steadied the pot so it would not fall. Their hands almost touched now and then. Each time that happened, Obiora felt a small jump in his chest. Adora felt it too, but she pretended not to notice. Did you sleep well? Obiora asked. Yes, I did, Adeze answered. Mama and I slept well. And you? I slept well, he replied, but I woke up hungry. Maybe I will eat the whole farm today. Adeze laughed. If you eat the whole farm, what will your father sell? He will sell me, Obiora said, pressing his hand to his chest. Tall, handsome son. Good for farm work, no refund. Adeze shook with laughter so much that a little water splashed on her wrapper. One of the girls washing clothes nearby looked at them and smiled. She knew that Obiora and Adeze liked each other. Many people in the village knew. They often said, those two will marry one day. It felt natural, like rain following clouds. When the pot was full, Obiora lifted it carefully and placed it on Adeze's head. He did it gently, so it would sit well and not hurt her neck. Adeze stood up straight. The weight of the water was heavy, but she was strong and used to it. Thank you, she said. You're welcome, Obiora replied. If I do not help my future wife, who will I help? Adeze tried to look serious. Future wife? Have you paid my bride price? Have you bought the goats and yams? Have you spoken to Mama? Obiora smiled. I have not yet, but one day I will. You will see. I will work hard. I will save money. I will buy the white goat that eats only sweet grass. When I come to your house with elders and palm wine, your mother will dance. She will say, this is a good man. This is the right man for my daughter. Adeze looked at him with soft eyes. His words touched her heart. She knew he was serious. She also knew he was poor. But she did not care. In her young heart, love was more important than money. A small heart with love was to her better than a big house without happiness. Then, I will wait and see, she said simply. They smiled at each other. A long quiet smile that said many things they did not dare to say aloud. Let me walk you a little, Obiora added. Adeze nodded. They left the stream together. Obiora carried a small calabash cup and a bundle of firewood he had found near the stream. Adeze walked with the pot on her head, one hand lightly touching it to keep it steady. On the way, they passed a small farm where a man bent over. Obiora greeted him loudly. Good morning, Papa Chike. Good morning, young blood, the man answered, walking with a fine girl this early. Be careful, oh, your heart will enter your mouth. Obiora laughed shyly. Adeze hid her smile and looked at the ground. When they passed the man, she nudged Obiora with her elbow. You see, people like to talk. Let them talk. Obiora replied. They cannot carry away my joy. After some time, they reached near Adeze's compound. Obiora stopped. It was not proper for him to follow her right inside every time, especially in the early morning. People would talk too much. He knew that. I will stop here, he said. If I go further, your mother will ask me to pay rent. Adeze laughed. You are your talk, Obiora. Thank you for walking with me. He nodded. Go well, Adeze. I will see you later. Maybe in the evening. Yes, in the village square, for the moonlight stories and dance, Adeze said. I will be there. I will drum for you, he replied. They shared one last look, full of simple joy. Then Adeze went off into the compound, and Obiora turned back towards the stream and his own home. Inside the hut, Nwanyocha had already started the fire. She was roasting some leftover yam pieces in the ash. When Adeze came in with the water, she smiled. Welcome back, my daughter. Thank you, Mama. Adeze replied, gently bringing down the pot. As they sat to eat their small breakfast, Nwanyocha looked at Adeze closely. She saw the soft light in her daughter's eyes and the small smile playing on her lips. Did you see your friend Obiora at the stream? She asked, trying to sound casual. Adeze blushed a little. Yes, Mama. He helped me with the pot. Nwanyocha sighed and gave a half smile. That boy likes you. I see the way he looks at you. Adeze looked away. He is a good person, Mama. He is kind. He helps his father. He is not lazy. I know, Nwanyocha said quietly. He is a good boy. They ate in silence for a while. Then Adeze stood up to sweep the compound. After sweeping, she washed the few plates. Then she and her mother went to their small farm to weed the crops. The sun rose higher, the day grew warmer, and the songs of birds were replaced by the buzz of insects. Adeze walked with energy, bending, pulling woods, straightening, wiping sweat from her forehead with back of her hand. She did not complain. This was her normal life, and something about the open sky above her made her feel safe. The day passed with simple, ordinary things: farm work, washing, cooking, fetching more water, tidying the hut. Yet these simple things built her world. In each task, Adeze moved with quiet grace. When evening came, the sky turned orange. The sun slowly sank behind the trees. Smoke rose from many cooking fires in the village. The smell of food filled the air: yam, soup, beans, corn. Children ran about, playing and laughing. Men returning from the farm chatted by the roadside. Women called their children to come and eat. After eating, Adeze washed her hands and face again. She wore her neatest wrapper, the one with blue and white patterns. She tied it well and fixed her hair with a few simple beads. She looked at herself in a small cracked mirror. She did not see what others saw. She just saw Adeze, a simple village girl, but truly she shone. "Mama, I am going to the village square," she said. "Go, my daughter," Nwanyocha replied. "Do not stay late." "Yes, Mama." The village square was the heart of Umuago. In the center, there was a big white tree with strong roots. Under it, elders sat on wooden stools and talked. On this night, a small fire burned in the middle of the square. The flames danced and crackled. Children sat close to it, eyes wide, waiting for stories. The moon hung bright in the sky like a watchful eye. Obiora was there, holding a small drum. When he saw Adeze coming, his face lit up. He came closer, but not too close. There were many eyes watching. Adeze greeted the elders first, then sat with the other youths. The storyteller, an old man with a walking stick, sat by the fire. He began with a loud voice, telling a tale of a clever tortoise and a foolish leopard. The children laughed and clapped as the story moved from one trick to another. After the story, some girls stood up to dance. Obiora began to drum. The rhythm was strong and sweet. The girls moved their waists and feet in time with the beat. Soon, someone called, "Adeze, dance!" The others joined. "Yes, Adeze, dance for us!" Adeze blushed, but she stood up. She stepped into the open space. Her bare feet touched the cool sand. The firelight touched her skin, giving it a warm glow. The drum beat followed her moves as she swayed her waist slowly, then faster. Her arms moved gracefully. Her beads shook softly. The crowd clapped in joy. Even the elders smiled. Adeze did not dance to show off. She danced because it made her feel alive. It was like her spirit was speaking without words. As she danced, her eyes met Obiora's across the fire. For a moment, it was as if only two of them were there. He drummed with more feeling, and she moved with more life. In that moment, under the bright moon and the watchful stars, everything felt right. A young girl, a young boy, a small village, simple joy. No one knew what the future would bring. No one knew the pain that was coming. For now, there was only laughter, music, and the pure happiness of youth. The moon had gone down. The night was quiet. A few dogs barked far away, and one lonely owl cried from a tall iroko tree. Slowly, the sky began to brighten. A soft grey light filled the land. Birds woke up, shaking their wings and singing small morning songs. Inside a small round hut at the edge of Umuago village, Nwanyocha, the widow, sat on a low wooden stool. Her back was bent. Her hands were resting on her knees. She looked tired, even though the day had just started. In front of her, on the mud floor, lay a small pile of cowries. Not plenty, only a handful. She touched them gently. pushing them around with fingers, counting them, counting again, then counting the third time, hoping maybe the calories would magically become more. They did not. They were the same small amount she had made yesterday. Her face grew sad. She sighed deeply, her shoulders dropping. Her heart felt heavy, like a stone was sitting inside it. Her daughter Adeze was still asleep on her mat. She looked peaceful, like a small flower resting before the sun wakes it up. Her breathing was soft. Her face was calm. But Nwanyocha looked at her and felt a sharp pain in her chest. My child, my only child, how will I take care of you? She whispered to herself. She stood up slowly. Her knees cracked. She rubbed her lower back with one hand. She was not very old, maybe in her early 40s, but suffering had made her body weak. Years of farming, carrying loads, begging for work, and worrying about tomorrow had shaped her into a woman who looked older than her age. She went outside to start the fire. The compound was quiet. A little mist lay on the ground. The morning was cold. She gathered some dry sticks, arranged them neatly, and struck fire stones together until the sparks caught the sticks. Thin smoke rose up into the air. While the fire burned gently, warming her hands, she remembered her husband. Ah, her late husband. A good man, a hard-working man, a man who loved her deeply. He used to wake her before sunrise to plant yam with him. He used to sing old songs when he was happy. He used to lift Adeze into the air when she was small and make her laugh loudly. He used to say, "My family is my pride. My wife is my peace. My daughter is my gold." But life is not fair. One day, he fell sick. A strange fever, hot body, shaky hands, weak legs. They tried herbs, they prayed, they cried. But he died, just like that, leaving her alone, leaving Adeze fatherless. When he died, the little happiness they had died with him. From that day, poverty entered the house like a strong wind, blowing everything apart. Nwanyocha blinked as tears gathered in her eyes. She wiped them quickly with the back of her hand. Crying will not bring him back, she whispered. I must be strong for my daughter. She went back inside the hut. Adeze was awake now, sitting up and rubbing her eyes. The faint morning light touched her face, making her skin glow gently. Good morning, Mama, Adeze said gently. Good morning, my child. How did you sleep? I slept well, Mama, she said, smiling sweetly. That smile was a little light that entered the hut. It made even the old walls look brighter. It made Nwanyocha's heart warm for a moment. But the moment did not last. Because behind that smile, behind that youthful beauty, behind that innocence, there was a deep problem. There was no money in the house, no food, no savings, no help, only poverty, only need, and only a mother trying her best. Adeze folded her mat and swept the small room. She hummed a soft tune as she walked. She always hummed when she was happy. That money, she hummed because she was thinking of Obiora, the young man she saw at the stream the previous day. His smile, his jokes, his gentle eyes. But her mother was not humming. Her mother was not smiling. Her mother sat on the stool again, staring at the cowries like they were enemies. Adeze noticed. Mama, what is wrong? She asked softly. Nothing, my child. Her mother replied quietly. But Adeze knew that tone. She had heard it many times. Something was wrong. Something was always wrong. She sat beside her mother and placed a hand on her arm. Tell me. Nwanyocha looked at her daughter's hand, small, soft, innocent. Then she looked at her face, beautiful, young, full of life. Her heart broke. She did not want to worry her daughter, But she also did not want to lie. My child, she began slowly. We do not have food in the house. This is all the money left. Adeze looked at the small pile of cowries. Her smile faded. She swallowed hard. How much do we need for food? She asked. More than this. Much more. Adeze was quiet for a moment, then asked softly, Mama, should I go and help Mama Kelechi sell peppers in the market today? Maybe she will pay me something. Wanyocha shook her head. You work every day. You fetch water. You farm. You cook. You clean. And you are still young. I do not want the whole world to use your strength when you have a future ahead. Adeze sighed. Mama, what can I do? Should I go to the farm again today? Should I help at the palm oil press? But Wanyocha was no longer listening. She was lost in her own thoughts. Her mind traveled to all of their problems. The farm was small and dry. Their roof had holes. Her wrapper had torn edges. Adeze had no sandals. The hole was old. The pot had a crack. The water jar was leaking. Rent for the farmland was overdue. And no one in the village respected a poor widow. She thought of the other women in the village. Women who had husbands. Women who had support. Women who had money. How they walked confidently. How they fed their children well. How their daughters wore fine wrappers and beads. Sometimes she wondered, why was her own life different? Why was she always struggling? Why must her daughter suffer because her husband died? A long silence grew inside the hut. Adeze placed her hand on her mother's back and rubbed gently. Mama, do not worry too much. I am here with you. We will survive. Those words were sweet, but they were also painful because Adeze did not understand the full truth. Yes, she was strong. Yes, she was helpful. Yes, she had a good heart. But Adeze was still a child, a young girl, a girl who should be laughing, dancing, dreaming, not worrying about hunger, not thinking about poverty, not carrying adult problems. Wanyocha looked at her and felt shame. I am your mother. I should be the one protecting you from suffering, not the other way round, she thought. Adeze stood up. Mama, let us go to the farm early today. Maybe we can harvest cassava before the sun becomes hot. We can sell some and keep some for food. Wanyocha nodded slowly. They prepared for the farm. Adeze carried the hoe. Her mother carried the cutlass. The sun was climbing slowly, making the air warmer. The village was waking up. Women were sweeping. Men were tying wrappers and preparing for farm work. Children ran around laughing. As they walked to their farmland, people greeted them. But some greetings were full of pity. Some people whispered, Eya, see how poverty has tied that widow and her daughter. Adeze is too fine for this suffering. The mother cannot take care of her well. No wonder the girl looks thinner these days. The words floated in the air like small sharp stones. They reached Wanyocha's ears. They caught her heart. She pretended not to hear, but she heard. She pretended not to care, but she cared. She walked faster, her face tight. Reaching the farm, she stood for a moment, staring at the ground. The land was dry. Weeds had grown everywhere. The cassava plants were few and small. They had no money to buy manure or hire help. Everything depended on their own strength. Wanyocha sighed again. Adeze touched her mother's arms. Mama, stop worrying. We will make it. Let us walk. They began to weed, pulling, cutting, bending, sweating. The sun grew hotter. After 2 hours, Wanyocha dropped her cutlass and sat on a tree stump. She wiped sweat from her face. Her eyes looked far away, lost in deep thought. Adeze noticed and came to sit beside her. Mama, are you tired? No, my child. I am thinking. Thinking about what? There was a long pause. Then, in a soft, shaky voice, Wanyocha said something she had been holding inside. Adeze, life is hard for us. Too hard. And you are getting older. You are beautiful. Many eyes are watching you. Many people are talking. Adeze blinked. Talking? About what? About you. About your beauty. About how you greet people. About how you dance. About how you walk. Adeze did not understand. Mama, is that a problem? No, my child, not a problem. But beauty attracts many things, good and bad. And beauty inside poverty is a dangerous thing. Adeze frowned. I still don't understand, Mama. Wanyocha held her daughter's hand. Adeze, I am your mother. I want the best for you. But with the way life is going, I fear what the future may bring. Adeze looked confused. Mama, what do you mean? But Wanyocha did not answer. Instead, she looked out across the farmland, across the distant trees, across the rising heat waves. Her mind was running into fear, running into worry, running into dangerous thoughts like, maybe the only way to save my daughter from suffering is to let her marry early. She shook the thought out of her mind quickly. No, she whispered to herself. No, she's still a child. She's only 17. She deserves better. But the thought came again. What if we remain poor forever? What if she grows up hungry? What if no man without money wants to marry her later? What if I die and leave her alone? What will happen to her? These thoughts troubled her heart. She stood up suddenly. Adeze, let us continue walking. They walked until their legs burned and their arms ached. When they finally harvested some cassava, they washed their hands in the small stream beside the farm and went home. The sun was high. The day was hot. Adeze smiled even though she was tired. Mama, we walked well today. Wanyocha forced a smile. Yes, my child, we did. But deep inside her heart, the worry grew bigger. Bigger like a storm cloud. She looked at her daughter walking in front of her, carrying cassava on her head. Her wrapper was old. Her slippers were worn out. Her body was thin, but her face was bright. Her eyes were full of youth. And that was when the thought came again. Strong, loud, heavy. Adeze is too young for this suffering. Too beautiful for this poverty. Too innocent for this kind of life. Wanyocha felt her heart shake. For the first time, she wondered, if a rich man comes tomorrow, should I accept? She shook her head quickly, as if trying to chase away the thought, but it stayed. It stayed like a shadow following her home. The sun sat high above Umago the next day. It was bright, hot and strong. The market square was full of life. Women shouted prices. Children ran around playing. Goats tied to sticks tried to chew any leaves they saw. Smoke from roasted corn rose in the air. The smell of dry fish, pepper, fresh palm oil, and ripe fruit filled the whole place. This was Nkwo Market Day, the busiest day in Umago. People from nearby villages came to buy and sell. Drums played in the distance. Traders argued loudly. Young boys helped their mothers carry baskets. Everything moved fast. And in the middle of this noisy, colorful market stood Adeze and her mother Wanyocha. They had come to sell cassava and small bundles of vegetables. Their goods were not plenty, but they arranged them neatly on a mat under a mango tree. The shade protected them from the burning sun. Adeze sat on a low stool. She fanned herself gently with a woven fan. Her skin shone brightly in the sunlight. Her hair was neatly braided and tied at the back. She had no gold on her ears, no expensive beads on her neck, but she did not need them. Her natural beauty was stronger than any jewel. Every time someone walked past, they looked at her. Some smiled, some whispered, some stared. But Adeze did not notice. She was busy arranging vegetables and greeting customers. "Good afternoon, Mama Nkechi," she said to a woman passing with a big basket of tomatoes. "Good afternoon, Adeze," the woman replied. "Your beauty is increasing every day. Take it easy, oh, before you confuse all the young men in the village." Adeze laughed shyly. "Mama, I am only selling cassava." "Yes, but even cassava can look sweet when the seller is sweet," the woman teased. Adeze shook her head and smiled. But her mother heard the comment and her heart tightened, not with joy, with fear. She did not like when people talked about her daughter's beauty too much. Beauty, she knew, attracted problems. Beauty could make rich men look twice. Beauty could make elders talk. Beauty could open doors, but also destroy young girls. Wanyocha looked at Adeze quietly. "God, help me keep this girl safe," she whispered in her heart. They continued selling. Business was slow, but at least some women bought a few things. Then suddenly, a noise rose at the other side of the market. People started whispering loudly. Some stood up to look. Some stepped back. A long line of men were walking towards the center of the market. They wore wrappers of high quality. Their skin shone with palm kernel oil. Some carried long walking sticks with animal carvings. Some wore big beads on their necks. And in front of them walked a tall elderly man with a strong chest and proud shoulders. His wrappers was clean and rich looking. His beads were thick and red. His sandals were made of leather. His bodyguards walked beside him. Some women quickly knelt. Some men bowed their heads. Children stopped playing. People whispered, "Chief Ezokafo is here, the great man of Umwago, the richest man in 3 villages, the man with 7 barns full of yam, the man with 10 wives before, the man whose farms stretched across the river." Yes, it was Chief Ezokafo, a powerful, wealthy, 70-year-old titled man. He was respected. He was feared. He was known for his riches. He was known for getting whatever he wanted. He walked slowly, tapping his walking stick on the ground. Each tap showed authority. Each step showed pride. As he moved forward, his eyes moved across the market, looking, watching, looking for something to buy or someone to buy, though people pretended not to know that part. At that moment, Adeze was bent over her mat, arranging cassava rows. She did not know who had entered the market. She had not looked up yet. But Wanyocha saw. Her eyes widened. Her heart beat faster. Chief Ezokafo was coming in their direction. She quickly pushed Adeze lightly. Stand up straight, my daughter. The chief is passing." Adeze stood up, dusting her hands. "Which chief?" "Ezokafo." Adeze blinked and looked up. And that was the moment, that single moment, when the chief's eyes met the girl's face. It was like time stopped. The noise of the market faded. The whistling of the wind disappeared. Chief Ezokafo stopped walking. His guards stopped too. His eyes narrowed. His walking stick froze mid-air. He stared. Not a normal stare, a long, hungry stare. The kind of stare that made a mother's heart shake. Adeze did not understand. She only bowed politely. Good afternoon, Chief," she said quietly. Her voice was soft, respectful, calm. Chief Ezokafo felt something move inside him. Something he had felt in the past. Something dangerous. Something many men feel when they see a beauty too young for their hands. He turned to his guard. "Who is that girl?" The guard whispered, "She is Adeze, the daughter of that widow, Wanyocha. They are very poor. They live near the big palm tree at the edge of the village." Chief Ezokafor nodded slowly. Very poor, widow, beautiful young girl. His mind started working. A plan began to grow. A thought formed quietly. This one, this girl must come to my house. He stepped closer. Good afternoon, my daughter, he said in a heavy voice. Adeze bowed again. Good afternoon, Chief. He looked at her face from the left, from the right, up, down. He smiled. What is your name? My name is Adeze, sir. A fine name for a fine girl, he said. Adeze felt shy. She looked at the ground. Nwanyocha stepped forward and greeted quickly, almost shaking. Good afternoon, Chief. You are welcome. May the gods bless your steps. Please sit down, sir. We have cassava and vegetables. Very fresh, very good. The chief did not look at her. His eyes were still on Adeze. He said, your daughter is very beautiful. Those words made Nwanyocha freeze, made Adeze blush, made the air heavy. The chief reached into his goatskin bag. He took out a small red velvet pouch. From inside it, he pulled a long shiny string of beads, deep red, bright, beautiful. Beads that poor people never touched. Beads that carried meaning. Beads that spoke louder than words. He held them out. Take, my daughter, a small gift for your beauty. Adeze stepped back a little. Ah, no, Chief, I cannot. Take it, he said firmly. Chiefs in Umagu did not like refusal. Adeze looked at her mother. Her mother's eyes were wide, but her face was filled with fake politeness. She nudged Adeze hard. Take it. Are you mad? The chief is blessing you. So Adeze took the beads with trembling hands. Thank you, sir, she whispered. Chief Ezokafor smiled deeply. Good, very good. He turned to his guard. Buy everything they are selling, all of it, and give them double the money. The guard nodded, opened his leather purse, and began to count cowries. Nwanyocha almost fell on her knees. Her whole body was shaking. Her eyes were shining with something dangerous. Greed. She bent quickly to thank the chief over and over. Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir. May the gods reward you. May you live long, sir. Chief Ezokafor lifted one hand. I will come to check up on you very soon. Those words were heavy, very heavy. He did not say, I will buy cassava again. He did not say, I will check on your farm. No, he said, I will come to check up on you. A man like him meant only one thing. Adeze swallowed hard. A strange fear touched her heart. Not strong yet, but soft, like the first drop of a rain before a storm. She watched as the chief walked away with slow, proud steps. His guards followed, carrying the food items they bought from her and her mother. When the chief was far enough, the market noise returned. People started whispering again. Some women stared at Adeze with jealousy. Some shook their heads. Some murmured, this girl is in trouble. Chief Ezokafor likes young girls. He has taken many before. He will not stop. But they whispered softly, not loud enough for the widow to hear. Because nobody wanted trouble with a rich chief. Adeze sat down, her hands shaking. She looked at the beads. They were shining in the sun. Her mother sat beside her. Her breathing was fast. Her eyes were wide. Adeze, do you know what just happened? She asked. Yes, Mama. The chief bought our things. No, my daughter. Her mother said slowly, her voice heavy. He bought you. Adeze's heart dropped. Mama, what do you mean? Her mother grabbed her shoulders. Adeze, listen to me. This is our chance. This is our blessing. A rich man has noticed you. A powerful man. A man with money and influence. Do you know what that means for us? Adeze looked confused and scared. Mama, I do not want anything like that. He is too old. He is older than Papa was. He can be my grandfather. But Nwanyocha did not listen. Her mind was running into dangerous thoughts again, running into greed, running into the dream of escaping poverty. She said sharply, Adaeze, beauty is a gift, but beauty inside poverty is wasted. You cannot live like this forever. I cannot suffer like this forever. If the chief wants you, we must accept it. Adaeze felt cold, very cold. She looked at her mother with weak eyes. Mama, what about Obiora? That name angered Nwanyocha. She hissed loudly. Obiora? That poor boy? With what money will he marry you? With what farm? With what house? We love feed you. We love pay rent for the farmland. We love buy clothes. We love give me rest. Adaeze's eyes filled with tears. Her voice broke. Mama, I am only 17. Please, I am still a child. But her mother did not hear her. Or maybe she did hear, but she refused to accept. She held the beads in her hands and stared at them like they were gold. This is the beginning of our change, Adaeze. Do not spoil this chance for me. Adaeze swallowed her tears. She looked out at the market. She looked at the path where the chief had gone. She felt a cold wind inside her heart, a small fear that would soon grow into a big storm. The next morning came slowly over Umuago. The sky was still dark, but a thin line of light was showing far away in the east. The air was cold. The birds were waking up one by one. Inside their small huts, Adaeze did not sleep well at night. She turned many times during the night. She held her wrapper tight against her body. She heard her mother breathing on the other mat. She heard the small night insect singing outside. But inside her heart, there was no peace. She kept thinking of yesterday, the market, the beads, the chief, her mother's words, the fear in her own chest. She had felt something break inside her, something small but important. She wished it was a dream. But it was not a dream, it was real. When morning finally came, she sat up quietly and held her knees against her chest. Her eyes looked tired. Her face had lost some of its usual shine. She stared at the floor for a long time until her mother slowly sat up too. Good morning, my daughter, Nwanyocha said. Good morning, Mama, Adaeze replied, but her voice was weak. Her mother noticed the tone and frowned. What is wrong? Are you sick? Adaeze shook her head. No, Mama, I am fine. But she was not fine. She felt like something heavy was sitting on her heart. Her mother stood up and tied her wrapper properly. She stretched her arms. She looked more excited than usual, almost too excited. Adaeze, today we must clean the compound well. We must wash your best wrapper. Plait your hair nicely. The chief may come to greet us any day from now. Adaeze froze. Her hand stopped moving. Her breathing became slow. Mama, please, do not talk like that. He did not say he wants to marry me. He only bought our goods, that's all. Nwanyocha shook her head quickly. No, Adaeze, you do not understand men like him. A chief does not buy from a poor widow for nothing. A chief does not give a girl expensive beads for nothing. A chief does not say he is coming to check on you for nothing. Adaeze looked down, her stomach twisting. Her mother stepped closer. This is our chance to leave poverty. Open your eyes, my child. Do not throw it away. Adaeze felt tears rise in her eyes, but she blinked fast to keep them from falling. She stood up quietly and went outside with the water pot. The compound looked peaceful. The chickens walked around scratching the ground. Dew sat on the grass. Smoke rose from other people's kitchens. But Adaeze felt nothing peaceful inside. She felt lost. She walked to the stream slowly, holding her pot. Every step felt heavier than usual. As she reached the path that led into the bush, she heard a familiar voice behind her. Adeze! Her heart jumped. She knew that voice anywhere. It was Obiora. She turned around. Obiora was running toward her with a big smile on his face. He wore a simple wrapper tied around his waist. His skin was shining. His eyes were bright like morning stars. He looked happy, very happy, because he was coming to see her. He reached her and laughed softly. Ah, Adeze, good morning. I thought I missed you today. I woke up late. My father sent me to check the traps in the forest, so I ran all the way. I did not want you to go without seeing me. Adeze forced a smile. Good morning, Obiora. He looked at her face and his smile faded a little. Are you alright? You look different. Adeze looked away. I am fine, just tired. Obiora shook his head gently. No, you are not fine. I know you. Something is wrong. Tell me. Adeze swallowed hard. She wanted to tell him everything. She wanted to say the chief gave me beads. She wanted to say my mother is planning something. She wanted to say I am scared. She also wanted to say I need you. But her mother's voice kept ringing in her head. Will love feed you? Will love take away your suffering? Will that poor boy marry you? The fear and confusion twisted her thoughts. She shook her head again. Obiora, nothing is wrong. I am alright. But she was not alright, and Obiora knew it. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Adeze, did somebody say something to you? Did someone insult you? Tell me, I will handle it. She shook her head again. No, nothing like that. Obiora took a slow breath. Then, why are you avoiding my eyes? Why are you talking like someone chased away your laughter? Is it your mother? Is something wrong at home? Adeze's eyes began to sting with tears. She blinked faster and looked away. Obiora, please, let's not talk about this. I need to fetch water. The sun will soon rise fully. He stepped aside and let her pass, but he followed quietly beside her. They walked in silence for a while, hearing only the sound of leaves, birds, and the soft footsteps on the ground. Finally, Obiora spoke again. Adeze, did you see someone at the market yesterday? Adeze's heart stopped. She froze. Why do you ask? I heard people talking. They said the chief passed by your store. They said he looked at you for a long time. They said he bought everything. They said he gave you beads. Adeze felt her throat tighten. She whispered, Yes, he did. Obiora became still, completely still. The kind of stillness that comes before a storm. After a long moment, he asked in a low voice, Adeze, did you take the beads? She nodded slowly. Yes, my mother told me to take them. The silence that followed was painful. Obiora looked at the ground. His jaw tightened. His hand shook a little. Adeze, you know what that means? She nodded again. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I know. He stepped closer. Did you want the beads? No. Do you like the chief giving you gifts? No. Are you happy? No. Obiora swallowed hard. Then why did you take them? Adeze broke into quiet sobs. Because Mama said I must. Because Mama believed this is the only chance we have. Because we are poor. Because we have nothing. Because she thinks the chief may want to marry me. Obiora stepped back like someone had hit him. His face changed. His eyes widened. His lips parted. Marry you? Adeze covered her face with both hands. Obiora, I do not want it. I do not want anything like that. I am afraid. I am confused. I do not know what to do. Obiora grabbed her hands gently and pulled them away from her face. Look at me. Look at me, Adeze. She looked up at him, tears falling. He wiped her cheeks with his thumbs. You are not going anywhere. You are not marrying that old man. You are not a goat to be sold. You are not a prize for rich men. You are Adaeze. My Adaeze. She cried harder. Obiora, what can we do? Mama will not listen. She said you are poor. She said you cannot marry me. She said love is useless. She said suffering is too much. She said, stop. Obiora said softly, placing his finger on her lips. He took a deep breath. Adaeze, listen. I may be poor, yes. I may not have all the money, but I love you. I love you with all my heart, and I will work hard until I can marry you. Even if it takes time, even if I have to farm on 10 lands, even if I sweat until my bones ache, I will do it. Adaeze shook her head slowly. Obiora, I believe you, but my mother, she wants a quick solution. She wants money now. She wants comfort now. She thinks the chief can give her everything she never had. She thinks I should sacrifice myself to save us. Obiora's eyes turned sharp. Sacrifice? You are not a goat for sacrifice. You are a human being, a child, a girl with a future. What kind of a mother wants her daughter to marry a man old enough to be her grandfather? Adaeze pulled her hands from his gently. Obiora, do not talk about my mother like that. She is suffering. She is tired. She thinks she is doing what is best. Obiora stepped back angrily. No, she's thinking of herself, not you. If she loved you, she would protect your future. She will not push you into the hands of a 70-year-old man. Adaeze wiped her tears. Obiora, please stop. You are making it harder. He took a deep breath and calmed himself. Then he asked, do you want to marry the chief? Say it with your mouth. Do you want that? No, I do not want it. Do you want me? Her tears dropped again. She nodded. Yes, Obiora, I want you. But wanting is not enough. They stood quietly for a long moment. Birds flew past. Wind blew gently. The stream sounded far away. Finally, Obiora said, Adaeze, promise me something. Promise me that until the chief himself comes to your house, you will not give up on us. Adaeze looked into his eyes. Eyes that were honest. Eyes that were young like her own. She nodded slowly. I promise. Obiora touched her cheek gently. Good. Then I will fight for you. Adaeze looked at him sadly. Obiora, you are just a boy. The chief is one giant mountain. What can you do? Obiora smiled weakly. Even a small axe can cut down a big tree if it keeps striking. Adaeze nodded, but deep inside her heart, she was afraid. Afraid of her mother, afraid of the chief, afraid of herself. Most of all, afraid of the future. The distance began. They reached the stream. Obiora helped her fill her pot quietly. But something was different today. They did not laugh. They did not joke. They did not splash water. They did not tease each other. It felt cold between them, like something invisible stood between them. Something big, something strong, something called fear, poverty, worry, deceit, greed, hopelessness. As they walked back, they did not talk much. When they reached the place where Obiora usually stopped, he paused. Adaeze, will I see you in the evening? Adaeze hesitated. For the first time, I do not know, Obiora. Mama may need me. That sentence caught his heart. She always met him before. She always came to the moonlight stories. She always danced. She always smiled. But now she was unsure. He looked at her quietly. Adaeze, don't let them take you from me. A tear dropped from her eyes. I will try, but I cannot promise anything. Obiora felt something break inside him. He watched her walk away, the pot on her head, her steps slow, not like yesterday, not like before. Something had changed. A distance was growing, a distance caused by fear, a distance caused by poverty, a distance caused by a rich old man who had seen her in the market. At home, Wanyocha was already cooking. She looked at Adeze and frowned. You look like someone beat you. What is wrong? Adeze shook her head. Nothing, Mama. Her mother stared at her suspiciously. Did you talk to Obiora again today? Adeze's heart jumped. She looked down. Yes, Mama. I saw him at the stream. We talked a little. Her mother hissed loudly. Stop talking to him. That boy will block your blessing. He will confuse you. He will pull you back into poverty. Stay away from him, you hear me? Adeze nodded slowly, even though her heart was crying. That evening, she did not go to the village square. She did not dance. She did not listen to stories. She sat outside her hut, looking at the moon. Obiora passed by the square, looking for her. He kept turning his head, hoping to see her walking toward him, but she did not come. He sat under the tree alone, his drum beside him, his heart heavy. People danced, children laughed, flames danced in the fire. But for him, the night felt empty, very empty. He knew something was changing, something he could not control, something strong, something that wanted to pull Adeze away from him. For the next few days, Adeze avoided Obiora at the stream. She went earlier than usual or later. Whenever she saw him coming, she carried her pot quickly and left. Not because she did not want him, not because she did not love him, but because her mother was watching her closely and because fear was growing inside her. Obiora felt the pain. He saw the change. He felt the distance. He knew she was slipping away. He would stand alone on the hill near the stream, waiting for her. Sometimes he saw her from afar, but she walked fast like someone running for a wild animal. His heart broke slowly, like dry wood cracking in fire. The sun was already leaning toward the west when the noise began to rise in Umago. Children who had been playing stopped and stared down the dusty path. Women carrying firewood paused and shifted their wrappers. Men who were carving wood or weaving baskets lifted their heads because something unusual was happening. A group of strong young men dressed in fine wrappers were walking into the village. Each one carried something: bags of yam, bottles of palm wine, baskets of kola nuts, goat skins, and clay pots full of palm oil. Their steps were slow and steady. Their faces were serious. Behind them came two older men, Chief Ezokafo's kinsmen, the elders of his village. They walked like people who had great authority. Their eyes scanned the village quietly. They did not smile. And behind them all, walking slowly with pride in each step, wearing long red beads and a wrapper of the highest quality, holding a carved walking stick in his hand, was Chief Ezokafo himself. He moved like a king. He looked around like the whole world belonged to him. He smiled slightly when people bowed their heads in greeting. But in his eyes, there was something else, something sharp, something hungry, something that made people whisper. He has come for the widow's daughter. Yes, everyone knew. Everyone saw the signs. Everyone understood why he was here. He had come to ask for Adeze's hand in marriage. Inside the widow's compound, Adeze was inside pounding cassava. Her arms moved up and down slowly. Her face looked tired. Her eyes were blank. She had not spoken much since morning. Her heart felt heavy. All she wanted was peace, just small peace. Her mother, Wanyocha, was sweeping the compound, but she was not sweeping like a normal person. She was sweating. Her hands were shaking a little. Her breathing was fast. She kept looking at the path outside the compound. She kept listening for footsteps. She kept touching her wrapper, arranging it again and again. She knew the chief was coming. She was expecting him. She had been waiting. Every sound made her jump. Then suddenly, Mama, Mama, look, look. It was a small boy from the next compound. He ran in excitedly. Mama Daisy, the chief is coming. He's almost here. He's coming with many people. The broom fell from Wanyocha's hand. Her eyes widened. Her heart beat faster. Are you sure? Yes, yes, they are close. Wanyocha rushed inside. Adeze, stop pounding. Stop it now. Come inside. Adeze stopped pounding. She dropped the pestle slowly. Mama, what is it? Why are you shouting? The chief is coming, oh. He is coming with his people. They are carrying many things, Adeze. This is the day. This is the day our fortune changes. Adeze's body became weak. She whispered, Mama, no. But her mother grabbed her shoulders. Stand up straight. Wipe your face. Go and wash your hands. Tie your wrapper well. This is your future. This is our blessing. Adeze shook her head slowly. Mama, my heart is not ready. Please listen to me. I do not want this. Please, Mama. But Wanyocha tightened her grip. Her voice turned sharp. Adeze, this is not the time to talk like a child. Marriage is not about what you want. It is about what is good for the family. You cannot throw away this opportunity. You cannot disgrace me. You hear me? Adeze felt tears rise in her eyes. Mama, he is too old. He is 70 and I am 17. It is not right. People will laugh. People will talk. Mama, please listen to me. But her mother did not allow her to finish. People will talk. Yes, people will talk whether you marry him or not. People will talk if you are poor forever. Adeze, open your eyes. Poverty has no friends. Poverty has no respect. If you enter the chief's house, we will be free. Free from hunger. Free from shame. Free from suffering. Do not spoil this for us, Adeze Nwam. Do not spoil this opportunity. Adeze stood quietly. Her tears dropped silently. Her mother turned away, not wanting to see the pain on her daughter's face, because seeing it might weaken her. The sound of footsteps and deep voices filled the compound entrance. Wanyocha rushed out and knelt immediately. Welcome, my lord. Welcome, chief. My house is blessed today. May the gods protect your steps. The chief smiled proudly. His eyes were already searching for Adeze. Where is my beautiful daughter? He asked. Adeze walked out slowly, head lowered. She had washed her face, but her cheeks still looked wet. The chief stared at her from head to toe. He nodded in satisfaction. Beautiful as always, he said softly. Adeze did not smile. She did not lift her head. She stood still like a carved statue. The chief did not stir, and he did not care. He turned to his kinsmen. Let us begin. The elders sit. The men arranged themselves in the compound. A big mat was spread for them to sit. The chief sat in the middle. His two elders sat beside him. The strong young men stood beside them. The whole compound smelled of power, of authority, of fear. Wanyocha knelt on the ground near the door of her hut. Adeze stood like a tree behind her mother, quiet and cold. The chief cleared his throat. We have come, as tradition demands, to greet this family. We have come to show respect. We have come to speak about something important. He paused. Everyone listened. Even the chickens in the corner seemed to stop moving. We have come to ask for the hand of your daughter, Adeze, in marriage. The words fell like a heavy stone. Adeze's heart sank. Her knees felt weak. She held the wall to stop herself from falling. Her mother bowed low. We are honored, my lord. We are blessed that you noticed my daughter. The chief nodded. Adaeze is pure. She is beautiful. She is well trained. She will make a good wife. She will bring respect to my house. Adaeze looked at him slowly. Her mind screamed, I am not ready. I am not happy. This is not love. This is not my life. But she could not speak. Not now. Not with all these powerful men around. The chief's elder cleared his throat and opened a leather bag. He pulled out kola nuts, all bright and rich looking. First, we greet the family. Accept our kola nuts. Nwanyocha accepted them with shaking hands. Thank you, sir. Our house is honored. Then came the second elder. He opened a goat skin purse and pulled out cowries. So many cowries that they almost filled a clay pot. People watching near the fence gasped softly. Even Adaeze looked surprised. The elder said, This is the bride price, the money for your daughter. The money that shows she wanted in a great man's house. Accept it. Adaeze felt something inside her heart tear painfully. Money for your daughter. She felt like an item, like yam, like goat, like clay pots. She felt sold. Nwanyocha covered her mouth with both hands. Tears rolled down her cheeks, not from sadness, but from joy. Thank you. Thank you, Chief Ezokafo. Thank you for remembering us. Thank you for lifting my family. She knelt again. The chief smiled proudly. We are not done yet. Bring the gifts. The strong young men stepped forward. They dropped their gifts one by one. 5 bags of yam, 2 pots of palm oil, 4 chickens, 1 small goat, a big wrapper for Adaeze, salt, fish, palm wine in clay bottles, fine beads, a small mirror, a cooking pot, 2 mats. The compound looked full. The neighbors whispered outside the fence, This is too much. The chief is serious. The girl is lucky. The girl is not lucky. This is trouble. This is blessing. Everyone had something to say. Adaeze only watched in silence. Her heart was breaking. The chief looked at Nwanyocha. Do you accept these gifts? Nwanyocha nodded quickly, tears falling. Yes, my lord. Yes, we accept. Thank you. The chief smiled. Then he did something that made Adaeze's blood turn cold. He turned to her. Adaeze, my daughter, speak. Do you accept me? Everyone turned their eyes to her. Her throat became dry. Her heart beat faster. Her hands shook. She could not breathe. She looked at her mother. Her mother's eyes were sharp, warning her. Say yes. Do not disgrace me. She looked at the chief. He sat with pride. He wore confidence like cloth. He expected her, yes. She looked at the gifts. They sat on the ground like chains. Money, yam, palm oil, all meant to bind her. She looked at the path leading out of the compound. For a moment, just one small moment, she imagined running. Running far away. Running to Obiora. Running into the forest. In fact, running anywhere. Anywhere except here. But she did not run. Her legs were too weak. Her mother's presence was too strong. Her future felt too dark. Everyone waited. The chief's elder spoke loudly. Adaeze, answer. Do you accept the marriage? Her mouth opened. No sound came out. She tried again. Her voice came, but very small, very soft, very weak. Yes. The chief smiled proudly. Her mother cried for joy. The elders nodded. The neighbors whispered. But inside Adaeze, inside her heart, something died. Obiora hears the news. While all this was happening, Obiora was in his father's farm. He was weeding the ground when a young boy ran toward him. Obiora! Obiora! Something is happening. Something is happening at Adese's house. Obiora stood up. His heart began to beat fast. What? What is happening? The chief is there. Chief Ezokafor came with his people. They brought many things, many gifts. They are doing marriage talk. Obiora dropped his hoe. Marriage? No, no, that cannot be. She promised me. She said she would not agree. The boy shook his head quickly. I heard it with my ears. They gave her mother kola nuts. They gave her cowries. They gave yam. People are standing outside watching. They said Adeze is now the chief's wife. Obiora felt the words spin around him. His chest became tight. He closed his eyes. His voice cracked. No, Adeze would not do that. She would not agree. The boy nodded sadly. People said she agreed. They heard her voice. Obiora fell to his knees. He held the soil with both hands. Tears dropped onto the earth. He whispered, Adeze, Adeze, why? The boy watched him quietly. Obiora stood up suddenly, wiped his face and ran. Ran fast. Ran like someone chasing his last hope. He ran straight towards the widow's compound. As Obiora ran, Adeze was being asked to sit beside the chief. He smiled at her. He touched her hand. She pulled her hand away slowly, but everyone pretended not to see. Wanyocha clapped her hands in joy. My daughter is now a great man's wife. My suffering is over. Adeze felt like a shadow, a living ghost. Her eyes stayed on the ground. Her heart stayed broken. Just then, someone shouted from outside, Obiora is coming! Obiora is coming! The elders looked up. The chief frowned. Wanyosha's eyes widened in anger. Adeze's heart jumped into her throat. Obiora appeared at the entrance, breathing fast, sweat all over his body, eyes burning with pain. Adeze, Adeze, tell me it is a lie. Tell me you did not agree. Tell me you did not say yes. Everyone gasped. The chief's face turned dark like storm clouds. Wanyocha jumped up. Obiora, leave my compound now. You have no respect. You are a child. This is the house of men. Obiora shook his head, tears falling. Adeze, look at me. Look into my eyes. Tell me you want this old man. Tell me you want to be his wife. Adeze lifted her head slowly. Their eyes met. Two hearts, two souls, two young people drowning in fear. She wanted to run into his arms. She wanted to scream no. She wanted to say, take me away. But behind Obiora stood poverty. And beside her mother stood wealth. Her future felt trapped. She whispered, Obiora, I already said yes. Obiora stepped back like he had been stabbed. He fell to his knees. He covered his face. He cried like a broken drum. Adeze cried too. The chief banged his walking stick on the ground. Take that boy out of here. Two young men grabbed Obiora and dragged him away. His voice echoed, Adeze, 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 do not do this, Adeze. But she could not save him. She could not save herself. And that was how her bride price was accepted. That was how her freedom began to die. And that was how the door of her sorrow opened slowly. The sun had not risen fully, but Adeze was already awake. She sat on the corner of her small mat, her knees pulled close to her chest, her eyes wide open, staring into nothing. She had not slept, not even for 1 second. Her mind had refused to rest. Her heart had refused to calm down. Her body had refused to accept the truth. She was now the chief wife. It did not matter that she was only 17. It did not matter that her heart loved someone else. It did not matter that she cried. It did not matter that she feared. What mattered was that the bride price was taken. What mattered was that her mother agreed. What mattered was that the chief had spoken. And when a rich man, a powerful one at that, Enumagu spoke, nobody argued. Adeze sat there, hugging herself, remembering the moment Obiora was dragged away. His voice still echoed in her ears. Her tears had dried, but her heart was still wet with sorrow. She heard her mother moving around outside, sweeping the compound happily, humming a small song, a song of joy, a song of victory, a song that felt like a knife in Adeze's chest. Adeze, her mother called loudly. Come out, my daughter, today is a great day. Adeze did not move. She wanted to hide. She wanted to disappear. She wanted the ground to swallow her. But mothers do not wait long. The hut door opened and Wanyocha entered. Her eyes were bright with excitement. Her wrapper was tied tightly. Her smile covered her whole face. Adeze, why are you sitting like someone whose goat died? Today is your marriage day. Today, you will enter a great man's house. Adeze looked up slowly. Mama, I am afraid. Wanyocha's smile fell. Afraid of what? You are not going to war. You are going to marriage. A big marriage. An important marriage. A marriage other girls can only dream of. Oya, stand up. Let me dress you. Adeze shook her head. Mama, my heart is not ready. I feel like running away. Her mother's face tightened. Adeze, stop talking like a foolish child. Running to where? To that poor boy? To a future with hunger? Look at these gifts in our compound. Look at our life changing before your own eyes. Look at what the gods have done. Adeze whispered. Mama, the gods did not do this, so poverty did this one. Wanyocha stood still for a moment. Her face hardened. Her voice became cold. Adeze, listen to me well. I have suffered for many years. I have eaten shame. I have swallowed insult. I have begged for food. I have worked until my hands cracked. If this marriage is the only way to escape poverty, I will not let you destroy it. You will marry the chief. End of discussion. Ngwa, stand up. Adeze lowered her head. Her mother grabbed her arm gently and pulled her up. Go and fetch water and wash your body. The women from the chief's compound will soon come to prepare you. Do not let them meet you dirty. Adeze walked out like someone being led to slaughter.